Welcome back to the channel that is still growing strong, and welcome to a BMW 1 Series with a bit of a twist. This one is the Urban Edition. I've never seen one before. The first thing that strikes you about this one is the colour almost immediately. It is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? It really pops. So some of the key differences to know about this Urban Edition are the gloss white slit on the front, the gloss white wing mirrors, the gloss white stripe on the rear bumper, and just for a bit of fun, you got some gloss white here, here, and here. Very, very unique, obviously, but hey, it's cool. The fabric on the seats also matches the colour of the car, and they are half leather seats, which is lovely. Some sort of luxury, I guess. So the Urban Edition is basically like a styling pack. It doesn't really mean anything in terms of performance. It doesn't mean anything in terms of anything else, suspension-wise, etc. You do get some wheels that apparently are kind of Urban Edition style wheels, but they're wheels. Now, when it comes to the badge and the 116i, this is where it hits a bit of a funny topic, because normally if you look at a BMW badge or Mercedes badge or even to a point an Audi badge, if it's, for example, a 330d, 530d, you go, hey, cool, they've got the 3-litre diesel engine, that's a good engine in that. But if you see a 320, 520, you go, they're on the cheaper side of things. It goes even more so with the 1 Series. It's not a 140i, it's not a 135i, it's not a 130i, it's not a 125, it's not a 123, it's not a 120, it's a 116. Surely that's the poverty spec, but this is actually the exact same engine as what you find in a Mini Cooper S. So if you look at a Mini Cooper and you go, oh, it's an S, you go, hey, it's got the 1.6 turbo petrol, same engine, so suddenly it looks a bit more pleasant. I'll be honest with you, I love something that's a bit different. God, the sun can't make up its mind. It's been raining and chucking it down for the past few days, so I'm glad it's sunny, but sometimes the sun can really cause shadows. And one thing I've not really gone over is how I get the cars cleaned. As someone who trades from home, brand new dealer obviously, there is a hand car wash place that's right near me, and to be honest with you, they do a great job and it's a really decent price. So throwing the car in for a valet makes perfect sense right before the photos, right before I take the video. It gives them a lot of business, they're happy, and of course it goes both ways. The problems come recently when the people there have changed. They used to love working on my cars and they used to clearly put a lot of extra love and detail into the job, but I'm not finding the same thing anymore. The new people who work there just don't really care so much about the process or the end result. I've got to move with the times. I've got to see this is a lot more serious, obviously. So going forward, I'm going to be using DC, detailing and valeting. Dan has worked on a few of my cars, and to be honest with you, every single time his results are outstanding. Dan will be one of the few people doing the valeting on my cars prior to photos and sale. Yeah, that does mean that it's going to take slightly longer, of course, waiting for his availability or anybody else who I find suitable. But in this sense, it does make more sense. The problem is, it doesn't look great for the photos. I mean, I know that a lot of this is going to come off, and it will come off. Annoyingly, the car has got some swell marks, but again, with the rain, with everything that's been going on, I've not been able to sort it out. The weather's great today, so today might actually be the day that I do it. The car got finished last night and I was not able to get the photos because the sun goes down at like 3-4 o'clock now, which is no good. Used to be 7-8 and you get loads of time. Now it's restrictive. The private plate came with the car, so I'm a little bit surprised, but at the same time I'm trying to work out what the hell it means. Is it initials? I don't know, but either way, it will come with the car. Gloss black on the kidney grills, again, that came with the car with the Urban package. This thing is really tasty. I like it. Even though I'm going to still give this car a buff and it will be in far better condition going forward, one of the details is that because I'm moving into my new unit soon, that will be undercover. So in the winter, when we hit this rain and horrible weather, I can still prep the cars properly. As a trader from home, that is very, very difficult unless you have a big enough garage to do the work. The wife and kids won't be very happy if I start taking over the house and the garage, so no, can't do that. The unit's only a few days away now, and at that point, I can then be a lot more selective about the process of prepping the vehicles visually when it comes to buffing and all the rest. Tour de France, hey! Now obviously the car's had a life, which means it's going to come with things like stone chips. There's a bit of damage here on the rear bumper. There's even a bit of life surface scratching here. That likely will probably come off with the buff. Same with all these imperfections here. They're going to get buffed off. Really, it's a kick up the arse for me because this should all be done prior to this stage here of photographing and even videoing. But this is a realistic journey for someone who's starting out, making the mistakes and telling you what to do, what not to do. So don't be like me with this one. Do it properly before you go out and take photos and everything. But at least I know that in a couple of days when the unit's ready, this car's already listed, and when someone comes to view it, it's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be even nicer than it is now. I still think it's really nice now. It's going to be even nicer. So what was wrong with the car when I first got it? Well, I'll show you here. The boot release was making a machine gun noise. At least now, problem sorted. No more issue. Turned out to just be a latch. Next, we saw on one of the previous MOTs that there was a oil leak, so this had to be inspected. LT Mechanics had a look, got up on the ramp and found that there was a washer missing at the bottom of the gearbox where the plug is. Okay, that's good news that it's an easy fix, but the other news is that you have to take the plug off to put the new washer on, and when you do that, all the oil comes out. Now that's fine, because what it meant is it gave us the opportunity to put fresh oil into the gearbox. Oil leak is fixed, and it's had a gearbox serviced as a result of the fix. It was a good excuse to do so. Now, a load of work has been done on the steering elements of this car in the past few years. So I think in 2023, it had a new steering rack, motor. So when we were doing the checking up on the ramp, we found that one of the tie rod ends had a tiny bit of movement. It wasn't even enough movement to cause an MOT failure or advisory, but regardless, I didn't want it being something that if I can see it now, it would just get worse. So I decided to replace it. So that's been done. When it was going in for the MOT, it did, however, fail on rear brake pads. They were very, very low. The brakes themselves were fine, discs were fine. So we put some new rear brake pads on there, and that is now all sorted. Now we come to the mammoth job that happens with a lot of BMW petrols, which is the VANOS system. So the VANOS system in this was causing an error. Came up on the dashboard, drivetrain error, drive moderately, so it looks really scary. Engine light was on, again, very scary. The test drive actually drove okay, but intermittently on and off, the boost would come in and out. So sometimes I'd drive and it would be absolutely perfect. It would boost well, no problem. So I knew it wasn't anything serious. But other times the software would basically go into like a minor limp mode. So it would still drive well, but you clearly notice it did not boost the way it should boost. So I bought the car knowing full well that it had a potential VANOS issue. Now, the VANOS issues with these, it's the variable valve timing of things. Now, it sounds really scary, but it can be something really small, like a sensor or a solenoid that can basically screw up the readings, and that could be all it is. Or it could lead to a timing issue. But because it was intermittent, and half the time when it drove perfectly fine, it was very, very, very unlikely to be a timing issue. So it took the risk. Amazingly, the guys at LT found it was just a solenoid on the intake side of things. That was replaced, surprisingly quite cheap, and it completely fixed the issue. Now the car drives mint. It drives absolutely brilliantly. So it boosts really well. Again, you can hear the turbo kind of chewing away. It's just like a Mini Cooper S. We gave it a full service, so oil's been done, filters have been done. This thing is still under 100,000 miles. I think it's at 98,000 miles. So even though it's had a life, it's got plenty left in it. Now we come to a feature which came with the car, which, to be honest with you, makes a serious difference to someone like me when driving it, which is it has a widescreen aftermarket Apple CarPlay wireless system, widescreen. So it comes with automatic wipers, automatic lights. Doesn't look like it has cruise control fully, but it has a speed limiter, which effectively does the same thing. You just hold your foot on the throttle, limit your speed, and it won't go past it. It does have the Sport Plus modes, Eco Pro modes, and it's got the full iDrive system. That's lovely and smooth because that's now been serviced. So if I fire the car up, and look at that screen, it is really, really good. So as you're driving, you've got full Apple CarPlay, and it's, of course, touchscreen. The best thing is you can go into Spotify, and using the wheel, you can scroll through all the tracks you like. Obviously, the sun's beaming off the screen right now, so don't read too much into that. But whatever you like, using this wheel, and then you can still use that to go back. And because it's so wide, you get so much information there. So I can see I've got a viewing for the Abarth at 3 o'clock. That's come up, which is good. And then I still use TomTom, believe it or not. But this is something really cool. I quite like the seats because they do match the outside of the car. It's not even just the seats. It's also in the doors as well. The car's got a really cool feature at nighttime, which is you'll actually get blue ambient lighting coming from places like here. And if you unlock the car when it's dark, the interior of the car lights up blue. That is from factory. It's really, really cool. And the moment you open the door, it goes back to standard yellow. It's comfortable. It's genuinely comfortable. And you've got an armrest, so you can actually chill. And that system is hooked up to the steering wheel control, so you can change songs, answer phone calls, and put the volume up and down using the steering wheel. The only other niggles this car had were minuscule things, bulbs. The daytime running light bulb was gone, a side light bulb was gone. Very, very easy to fix them, obviously. But the result is you have a 1 Series with a Mini Cooper S engine that retails for around £4,000, which is great value for money with one of these, because you're not getting a standard 1 Series. You're getting something that is so cool and unique. Obviously, it's not going to be in absolutely pristine condition, considering the fact that it is a used car that's had a life. It's going to look even better soon. It's not a bad room in the back either, and it is very clean, which is nice. See, the paint is really nice, but 90% of these imperfections will come off with a buff. We do have planes flying directly overhead, so excuse the noise. So the VANOS system in this, truthfully, actually didn't even need doing. The solenoid replacement didn't even need doing, because on the surface of it, when we started going through the modules, making sure everything was correct and fixing the rest of the car, the VANOS system started behaving itself. It got to the point where I had to take the car out for multiple drives to try and get it to misbehave, just so we can be absolutely confident that we needed to fix it. Are you sure you want to spend the money on doing this? Because it looks like the car's actually perfectly fine. If I'm hesitant about putting a car out there, the simple answer is I won't put a car out there. Not unless I fully disclose what the detail is, but in this case, I thought, no, it's going to go at some point, so I may as well do it now. That way it prolongs the life of the car. This 1 Series is now up for grabs. It is going on the website today. It is going to be on Auto Trader later today. By the time this video is out, it will be live, and I'm really excited about this one. Someone's going to get a really cracking car. It's nice to know it's had a full gearbox service as well. It's just a bonus, isn't it? Right, this is something I'm really looking forward to. Engine starts nice and strong. Fuel reserve, sorry. Ooh, I heard that. Little turbo whistle. I'll see if I can get an echo of the turbo over this bridge to see if you can hear it. Woohoo! I heard that. Sorry, child in me, can't help it. I like cars, I like turbos, superchargers, I can't help it. Now, being a small 1 Series, one of the major characteristics of this car compared to most small hatchbacks is the fact that it is rear-wheel drive. That makes quite a serious difference when you're going through corners, the way that it feels. Tray plate's rattling away, my apologies. Yeah, it's boosting well, it's consistent. Yeah, we got stop-start as well, that works. Nice. I'll put it in Sport, not Sport Plus, because the roads are a little bit damp and I don't want to be doing a Jeremy Clarkson spinning away, you know? Although looking at the traction button here, it's always tempting. Yeah, so straight away in the corner, you can... Oh God, it's different in Sport. I didn't expect that, but I've put it in Sport and it definitely feels a lot more lively now. As long as you don't push it too hard, losing the back end in the corner, it's actually really, really fun. Whoa, that's actually pretty good. That's actually very good. I wasn't expecting it to be that good because in my mind I'm still thinking it's only a 116, but no, as the revs build it pulls harder and harder, obviously. You know what, a map on this wouldn't go amiss, would it? This would be a right little weapon, this thing. It goes back to the BMW thing of how a BMW drives. With this thing, it's slightly different to a 3 Series. A 3 Series obviously has a different wheelbase, it's wider, same with a 5 Series, they're really well planted. It's a real challenge to make these cars feel good on the road because they're so small, short wheelbases, all that sort of thing. But the good news is, because this one is rear wheel drive and BMW clearly know how to make a car that feels good as a driver, it goes either way. If you drive the car nicely, it's actually a really nice car to cruise in. It's very comfortable because these seats are half leather. Actually, I have been on the motorway in this thing and now I think about it, it was actually very smooth. Well, look, I'm not going to drag it on. Obviously, as a BMW, it drives great. It really does. Suspension-wise, it's not an M Sport, which is actually a good thing. So it's a lot more comfortable over the bumps. Right, I'll be honest with you, this car is really nice. For a 1 Series, I really like it. It's really, really good. Right, as always, thank you so much for supporting this journey. I've started putting out a couple of videos there, obviously, as a brand new motor trader. I'm giving you my perspective on how I've experienced things with motor trade insurance, even the DVLA. It's not me saying this is exactly how the world works, but I'm giving you my experience so far. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you soon.